All right, let's go. We'll kind of explain along the way. This hopefully will be a long series, but we're going to start a new project. It's going to kind of be an OS, um, build a UI, and a bunch of side projects along the way on that UI. But we'll explain. But let's just get started because otherwise, if I plan too much, the project will never get started. So we're just in Emacs, Doom Emacs, if that matters. Uh, I just created a new account for streamer. I've never streamed before, so this is going to probably be brutal for my first couple videos, but whatever. Projects Terrarium. We're going to add the project here just to make Emacs a little nicer. Start Git. Um, and we're just going to kind of slowly build from this main C. We're going to do some stuff that I haven't done before, tons of stuff I haven't done before, some stuff I have and have some familiarity with, but one of the habits is either these days using AI or copy pasting from other projects. There's a million things that I just don't have memorized or do from scratch because I've done them for years and I just kind of copy them over. Simple stuff, the way like bit shifting, dealing with Indianness. Those are just random examples, but there's a million examples. Even writing make files, I had to look some stuff up just to see if I could actually write make files from scratch still, which we're going to do because I've developed for a bunch of years and I didn't realize how much I just copied and pasted around from previous projects to Bootstrap stuff. So we just kind of want to do everything from most stuff from scratch, not everything, like absolutely everything. So let's just go. I don't even know if I can, not even in the right. I'm super tired today too, by the way, so I don't know if that matters. Switch to project. I don't even know what's going on right now. There we go. I don't know if I can type and talk at the same time. I'm probably gonna make tons of mistakes because I'm being recorded, but and I'm not on my normal keyboard. If that's probably why I'm gonna make a million mistakes. Um, so just a couple notes that in Doom Emacs, I'm running LSP, which we'll kind of have to configure later. So it sees imports and everything, but also auto formatting. It's just using Clang format, I think, behind the scenes, but obviously our project doesn't have a format yet. We'll go get one. It's just formatting with whatever the default is right now. I think GCC is just using Clang under the hood, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. Uh, let's just do a couple things. We're going to ignore this just to get the project going. We'll probably add to that commit. Um, so since it'll be a long-term project with like an OS, a GUI, applications, um, our own standard library, things like that, I think one of the more fun ways will probably be to start with the GUI and just build it in the Mac, but in a SDL window and build all the interactions there. And then later, when we start booting the OS just using QEMU or something, we can just bootstrap the OS enough to run the GUI and just port it over there. We're going to do it kind of raw right now with SDL, but pretty quickly abstract the platform layer out from under it. just to make it clean and allow us to port it easier. So this video will just be bootstrapping, getting a window up and drawing a window, I think, is a good test first video. So yeah, let's pull in STL, open a window, and yeah, let's just keep going. Right now, LSP is not going to see it. Let's just do something as simple as, I don't even know if this is right, but I think that's enough to do it. Can use package config. I think I'm thinking we might just do a make file right away. It's going to be kind of brutal, but it'll allow us to create our compile commands.json that will allow the LSP to work nicely, and we can jump into the SDL file. All the imports will be known. It's kind of ugly. I don't typically do it this way for my own projects, but I'm trying to just keep everything simple and use make files and simple stuff. I got plans for that in the future, but let's just get stuff going now. And I've only had to do this a couple times in my life to memorize this, so it might take a second. Terrarium. It's just going to be C99s, turn on errors, warnings. Turn them into errors. We know we're going to need SDL. And there's 2 and 3. I'm just going to do 2 now because I'm more familiar with it. I don't even know if there's enough breaking changes. It might not even have to change any code to make it go to 3. But if there is differences, it's kind of nice because we can have that as a second platform. Just test our abstraction. What else do we need? We need a build DR. This is why make files kind of suck. You can shell out define and do things, but I think we're gonna, pretty sure this is just GNU make, but everything can be improved as we go. Yeah, we're going to turn all the C files into object files. Let's just make a phony command for all that's going to build the target. And let's just set it up like this. I'll have a couple steps. So I'll have compile, we'll have link. I know we're going to need a clean and maybe a run. So for compile, you're just telling make what the resulting file is you want. So we're going to want .o files, and we're going to want them from our .c files. And this bit right here, we need something to create the build directory. $@ at just says whatever the target is, the thing before the colon. So it'll just replace that with whatever the variable is here. The reason you do this pipe is because it will still, this target will depend on this, but it will ignore the modified time, I think it is. And when we, actually, I think that's the only reason. You don't really need this to separate it from the C files, the way we use the special variables, but so let's build the .o files. So you're going to have an input file and an output file. So we're going to compile. The $sign to the left says it's talking about the arguments or the dependencies, really, everything after the colon here. And it's saying the first one. And if you do the left one, it'll iterate this command over each of these files, the .c files. If you do this, it'll do all of them in a row in a single command. But we want to do this command for each of our C files. And then our output is the target, again, which is at. It's kind of, that's mnemonics, not the right word, but helps me remember the at is the target, which is the .o file. Then we need to link, which our dependency is going to be the target itself. Our dependency is all our object files, which happen in the previous step. Then here we're going to build, we need to link. And I think we need to compile. This is the one where if we use this, we could drop all the object files in the same line. So it's going to do a single command here, not one per object file. And then our output is our target, which again, you can just use this. It's pretty archaic. We're going to switch to something else later. So if all this part is boring and doesn't make sense, it's fine. I just always skip this, so I'm kind of forcing myself to run through it so I'm more familiar. Literally before earlier today, I don't think I could have just written this from scratch. I wrote part of it in a test run to kind of test OBS, so it's fresh in my brain. Clean. We're just going to. Phony targets are ones that don't have files related to them, so it's not gonna. That's how make works. Is it looks for the targets to see if they exist. If they don't, then it'll rebuild them with the command that you put here. But phony ones tell it it's just kind of like a command runner. So we're gonna just delete the build. Yeah, and actually our target should change then to build dir because we don't want it in there. We don't want it in our root folder because then we can just have a nice easy cleanup. Run is just, it's not really necessary, but that's less typing. Did I forget anything? Probably. I don't know if I could ever get this to work first try. We're going to move stuff into folders and all that later. Again, we're just kind of bootstrapping right now. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and delete the old binary. Just make, okay, no. No, no rule to make target terrarium. Oh, do we have to tell it we're actually depending on that? That should, what packet? So it's saying it can't find, oh, it's literally a typo. Package config just spits out stuff for C, like the includes, and the libs spits out. Let's just do it so you can see. It's for the linker. This is all it does. It spits out some text telling you where to link it and makes it a little bit more portable. And you don't have to track down. I'm on a Mac. On Linux, it would be different. But package config is going to spit out the right stuff for your system. So let's try again. Okay. Wait. Oh, I didn't save. All right, this is good. So it did try to build, but it's throwing warnings because now we have these turned on. These are the warnings, obviously. This turns the warnings into errors, so it refuses to build. And one of them is that we are not using argc and argv, just unused variables. For now, you can just cast them to void. Still init. Maybe that, I don't even know if that's actually the. Did I link? That's usually a linker issue. If that's even the right function. Am I doing that? Looks like it's failing on this, not on. Why is it to link? Wait, am I tripping? Oh, let's do make. Okay, I was. Yeah, we're just saying compile. Is it compile? Come on. Run all the above plus the symbol generating a target dot out. Okay, so that's what it was. I just mixed it up. That's telling it not to. We're not going to build an exe. We're just building the object files. Okay, so it's working. Um, let's do a couple things. Make clean. Perfect. Just make again. Make run. Oh, maybe. Oh, so it actually is doing STL in it. It works. Okay, so if you notice though, let's see this just to print something out so we know. Okay, so it's working. So if you notice, it's the LSP is still complaining because it doesn't know where to look for these. So you have to have like a common thing to do is the compile commands.json, and it just if you have it in your local directory, most LSPs will look for it. And there's different ways to generate it. CMake can generate it. A lot of like IDEs will just handle it for you. Um, there's in CMake there's a specific command to do it. Um, but there's also not I guess third party, but there's additional software that's designed just to do that. And there's one called Bear. Um, and if you run Bear and pass it make to build, then it will check all the output of make and what make is doing and generate this file for us. So it complained because we don't need run, make doesn't actually even need to run. So you can see the new file compile commands. It might be empty. Yeah, it's just empty. But if we do make clean and then bear make, then it's the compile commands is probably way bigger. Yeah. It's just a big JSON file. Actually, it's not. This one's not even big, but it's telling it where to look, what args we use, and if you see how it's right here, the includes. That's how the LSP knows where to look for includes. So now, if we come back here and just resave this file, everything works. We can jump to definitions in SDL, and as you see, it's in Homebrew, Cellar, etc., or wherever it would be for you. Kind of nice. So let's just do some get ignore, get save. You don't want to commit this to the directory, and you you can't have make run it every time. You have to run it outside of make, which is super annoying. Which is why eventually make will get replaced. You can have a simple build sh that calls bear dash dash make as well, but for now we're just going to keep it simple. The compile commands that includes and everything we need isn't going to change very often, so we don't have to run bear frequently anyway. So let's just ignore it. This is Magit, which is just a Git porcelain, like Git interface for Emacs. It's the best. It's actually one of my favorite pieces of software ever made, I would say. So let's just keep ignoring stuff we don't want in the project. You can go through and pick. Oh, you can pick chunks. You can highlight and just say, I just want to stage that, or stage the whole file, etc. And you can see red that there's white space there. I don't know why. White space cleanup should happen automatically, maybe. Maybe that for make files it's special. But I ran a little cleanup command in Emacs. It's done. Should happen. So we got a make file, a git ignore, main.c. Let's just keep going a little bit. We know we're going to want to quit. And for the SDL window setup, I've done it a million times, but let's try to do it without looking up. I usually just look something up, grab the basics, but the whole point of this is to do stuff manually. So we can, I don't know if it's really worth it, all of it manually, but just kind of for fun instead of copy and paste in or asking AI or Claude or Codex stuff. So I do know, so all we actually care about for SDL is video right now, but we need to create a window. I do know this kind of sucks. As you can see, this is the code up here. This is my shell, which we can just exit out of. It's doing this snippets thing because this is a new user account. I don't really want it to be doing this. And all that text at the bottom was like the documentation for it, which is kind of nice, but I don't think it's really necessary. I might turn that off before the next one. We're going to create some variables for this: screen width, screen height. Actually, I just did that wrong. The next two are screen width and height. As you can see, the WH, this is the X and Y of where you want it on the screen. And there's some, this is basically what I always do is STL screen pause centered, I think. Will it show us an error? No. We're just going to copy paste them. You put that for X and Y, then we have screen width and height. And want any flags? What are the flags? I'm just going to say none for now. Oh, all right. Let's create our constants. We'll need to fix the SDL screen POS. I can't remember. Maybe that isn't right. Let's just start off small. We're not actually returning anything or grabbing anything, so it's a window. I really don't like this formatting, so we're going to also fix that fairly soon. Oh, it's window pos centered. Holy cow. I'm sorry. I'm going to turn that off before the next video. That's super annoying as well. So you kind of, I think you typically need four things. You got an init SDL, you need a window, a render, and a texture. And then you have your own, pixel buffer that you write to the texture on every frame. So let's just keep going. Next render. Create render. What's index down here? And the rendering driver or -1 to initialize for, yeah, that's fine. We'll just use -1. Flags. I think we probably do want some kind of flag here. I'm going to put 0 just so it'll make everything happy and I can jump to the definition of this. SDL render flags. Let's just see if, yeah, accelerating. Even though we're going to write 2D, I think it's so it'll use OpenGL backing, but you're just still writing a software rasterizer. Again, I really hate this formatting. We're going to fix that pretty quick. Now we need a texture. This is so noisy, sorry. Render. This is pixel format. I am super used to RGB 888. It's just where it's a 32-bit RGB in RGBA order. I don't know why that's the easiest for my brain. What is access? One of the enumerated texture access. Texture access. Since it's changing it's static or streaming, the other ones I know. I think streaming is what you want when it's changing every frame. So if you have like another texture might be something that's static, like a texture for a model or something that doesn't change, but streaming, we are going to change it every frame. And this size is screen width, screen height. All right. We're going to need to do like a loop to redraw and like read input for quitting. But I also think, oh, I don't really like this. Let's do this. But we're also going to want stood int so we get specific bit width integers. I don't really like int short. I'm not, don't have that many years in C, probably a handful. And I've been using set it since it just maps to my brain better. Thinking 8, 16, 32, 64 instead of car short, long, and and I think long is different depending on the OS. So then you have long. It's 164, 132. So I just use these everywhere. So this is a 32-bit integer, which unsigned, which is our RGBA. Oh, sorry. And width times. So we have 1 pixel. 32T. Why isn't that? There we go. So now we have our pixel buffer that we can draw to. I wonder if we can let's just run this and see if anything blows up. We're going to have to, destroy each of these, but the OS is going to do it for us right now. We don't really care. Make run. Let's just see if a window even comes up. Well, oh no, because I don't think we presented or anything. So we've got our stuff. I think we can do, let's just have a loop. We need stood bool for that since we're on C99. I think C23 now has it included in the language. So we're just going to say while is running. We're going to loop, right? That's fine. Why isn't that? And then what I think we can do, what's that? The SDL polling or SDL event? I think we're going to do another while. Is it poll? Input, maybe? I'm going to try to do this without looking it up. I know we need an event. Just zero it out. It's got to be input or poll event capture. What the hell is it? I'm going to try to use the local docs. I mean, it's a Google search away, but I find it annoying that I've done this many of these and I can't remember off the top of my head. We know the function takes an SDL event, a pointer to an SDL event. Oh, pump the loop? I don't feel like it's pump though. I don't. Poll wait event? No, we don't want to wait. Pump, we don't want that either. As event flush? No. Is it poll event? I think it is. Poll for currently pending events. If event is not null. Okay, cool. This is actually what we need. Mm. And then I think, what if we just do printf? Can we even, I don't know if this is something we can actually print type. Yeah, it's event 32. I wish there was a, I wish there was a string version, but we can just print that just to make sure we're getting them. So we're going to pull events, then we are going to, this is the part I'm going to forget. Render clear. We're going to clear the render. And I think we need to SDL texture. We need like copy. So you need to take the pixels, put them on the texture, and then you need to copy the texture onto the renderer, I think it is. Render copy. What is it? Doesn't like that. Copy. What does this want? A render. Oh, perfect texture. And then the source and despot, those were they're pointers, but we're going to leave them as null because we want the full size of the. We're not taking a portion of the texture. We want the whole thing. So I'm pretty sure we can just do null null. But we need to STL. We need to copy the bytes. Is there a copy? Copy pixels to texture. I can't remember, but I do know we got a SDL under present. Let's just try it without that. And we can actually say if the event.type is SDL quit, this at least will let us get out of here, is running, is false, and breakout, we'll break out of this loop, which it'll check this again, and then everything will quit. You know, I gotta remember this. It's some texture function. We'll go look, but let's try it out. Wait, what? Oh, I sorry. Wow, maybe that's what happened last time too. No, I did. That is what happened last time. That's why window didn't show up. We didn't rebuild. That's super annoying. That's why this build. That's why make sucks. I might actually create a build script so it does bear and rebuilds and runs every time because it's such a small project. I don't care about caching the build at all. So that might be something worth doing just so we can have a single command, blow everything away, build for now. Okay, so we're getting our events. That's cool. Type in keyboard, escape, and then if we close, does it? Yeah, okay. That's working. Now we just got to do the texture thing. What is that? I don't want to have to look it up. Oh, update texture. Boom. Update texture. What do we need? Here, the rectangle, the pixels, and the pitch. Texture. That's we don't care about the rectangle again because the sizes match. Pixels, that's our pixels. And the pitch is how many bytes it is in one row of pixels. So it knows how to make a square out of it. So that is screen width times the size of you went 30. I should probably do it of pixels, the first item in pixels, but that it's never going to change, and we'll probably clean that up later. Did it what not stay on this one line? Okay. But there's nothing in the pixels, so let's create a couple functions to clean up the pixels. Clear pixels. I'm just maybe we're not even going to bother passing a color yet. We'll just clear it white just to make sure it works. So for every pixel, every row, that was real lazy. I shouldn't even have bothered. That's I didn't get enough sleep last night. That's why. Wait, not wait. So we can do pixels, and you. The typical thing here is this. So you're saying the width of a row times y, like how far down, how many rows down, times that, not times, plus x to move over that specific row the way you want. So for this, for clearing it like this, you could probably mem copy or something, but we're just going to keep it simple because we want to be able to change the colors and it's not going to be a flat value. So since we're using RGBA, let's clear it red for now, which is R, G is 0, B is 0, alpha is 255. And let's close this. We're going to do it every frame for now. I mean, probably always, but since it's not changing, it doesn't really matter, but let's just do it. Make run. If it's red, we're happy. We are happy. Let's stop printing these events because it's too noisy. So you can do constants with uh, what do you call it? Not unnamed enum, but anonymous enum instead of doing defines. Then you have some type safety, but it's only for ints. And since we want unsigned ints, we can't do that for some of the colors. So to keep it simple for now, I'm just going to do define black is oh, that's black. White is all let's just do a couple simple colors. So red, blue, no, RG. That was dumb. I should have done green next. RGB alpha. Let's put them in order. So let's just clear it as black. And then let's create another one for draw pixel. And we'll get an X. This should be unsigned, but we'll deal with all that here in a little bit. And I don't know why I just don't do that. For consistency. And this works the same way as above. We're gonna so you could call draw pixel here instead and just pass in X and Y, but there's the function call overhead. It would probably get inlined by the compiler anyway, but let's just not get too fancy just yet. So let's clear the pixels and then draw a pixel on X. Now let's do 200 by 200 in red. And why don't we now change clear to take an actual color, and then you can see it where you're clearing it. We're going to still clear it black. Do we see it? I do not see. Oh yeah, I do see it. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but it is working. So why don't we just do something like this for, we're going to hard code this. What we're going to do is draw 3 lines across just to ensure everything's working. One RG, red, green, blue. So we're going to start from, how tall is it? 800. So let's do 300 down, 400, and 500. So we'll do 300. No, we don't even need this. We'll just say 300 rows down. We're going to draw left to right in red. So the full width, we're going to draw across 300 rows down. And then let's do the same thing 2 more times. Let's do 400, RG, and blue. Then we'll just have something that's nice and easy to see. This isn't like real code that will stay or anything. This is just to get us to confirm everything's working, and then we can tidy up. Yeah. Am I tripping? Oh yeah, it's because it's 600 tall. What am I doing? I was thinking 800. So we'll do 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter, but it just makes me feel better. Okay, is there a way to pause OBS? I don't know. Stop recording? I just want to pause it for a second. Oh well. I'm going to stop and maybe I can combine them. I don't know how this works. All right. Oh, there is a pause button. I just now saw it. I wish I would have known that. I'll see if I can stitch these together. I'm not sure. All right, so let's just make run just one more time. Okay. Escape doesn't work yet. We'll need to add that soon because that's annoying. let's take what we've got and just clean up and make a commit that says, we're drawing lines. That's functional. Our loop works. Input works. Um, Destroy. I think you want to do it in the opposite order. So let's destroy the texture. Destroy the render. Destroy the window. Um, yeah, that's everything looks good. I'm not even going to bother making this a function because we'll have like line drawn functions and stuff later. Um, One thing I would like to do before I commit this to not have a bunch of noise is to um, get our Clang format working the way we want so we don't have big white space changes. I mean, you can tell Git to ignore white space changes, but it might be nice to just resolve that now before we commit all this and do actually do error checking on all this stuff. Um, so yeah, let's do that. I literally steal my settings from Serenity OS. I always have. I always like the way their C++ looked, and they have a bunch of C++ specific stuff, but I just find it's easy. These are actually something I never memorized, and I really don't care to memorize it. Like Makefile has some value, but memorizing this is pointless. Just pick a style you like. Um, so he's got multiple languages in here. They do the whole team of them. I like to. I think this is the most important one, so I put it up top, even though they have it alphabetical. A line escaped new lines. I'll have to look that one up. I can't remember. A line trailing comments, yeah, always, but not over blank lines. This I don't like. I'll show. I can show you the difference. Inheritance comma. This isn't C++. No constructor. This is good. This is for like if defs um, in the preprocessor where it'll actually do indentation for you. It's kind of nice. Require is C++, namespace C++. This one I also don't like. Maybe it's a C thing, but I've tried this one before and it's something I feel like it puts const. Maybe it's more correct, but it seems so unnatural to me that I don't like it. Remove semicolons, that's fine. Require clause, remove semicolons, remove semicolons after things like function declarations and stuff that you don't need. We don't have template, requires expression. We don't have requires. All right, so let's go back to main. So let's actually stage it so we can see what the new Clang format does. Um, yeah, we're gonna even fix some of this. So you see how now all the functions braces start a new line. I actually don't. It doesn't really matter. It's just personal preference, and whatever project I'm in, I get used to it. For C++, so for some reason I do kind of like it, but for C, I typically don't. Feel like it feels just kind of a little bit better with it on the same line. So um, we're gonna get rid of that. I think you can just get rid of the whole thing. Yep, so now it's on the same line. I just like that a little better. For these, we're going to stuff these away in functions after a while anyway, so I'm just going to put it all on one line. It's not like you need to care or see these parameters. later. Are we doing it anywhere else? Here. All right. And we'll just save that. A line escaped. New lines? I actually. A line escaped. Let's look that up. What's our value set to? Left? Oh, for left. Oh yeah, left. Yeah, we would definitely want that. We like that. I think for macros and stuff, it'll be uh, will be nice. Okay. And the last thing we want to do is just a little bit of error checking to blow up now. Better to have it done now. We're going to write our own standard library. Um, I would say most of it, and then use it throughout all of our projects to be nice, to have a nice like base to work with. But for now, let's just use their assert. We'll write our own assert in another video or two. So I think this actually returns zero on success or a negative number. So it needs to be zero or greater, essentially. We're just going to assert on all these greater than or equal to zero. And then I think we could just window. This, what we're doing now is we're not trying to deal with error handling or anything. We just want anything to blow up loudly and quickly if there's any kind of issue. We're not interested in specific errors. We're not going to be messing with these. We're not passing it user input. Just blow up loud and immediately. And as we get more sophisticated, we can handle errors and stuff. But if SDL's blowing up, you might as well like the whole world's having an issue. So you've done something massively wrong. So just exit. All right. I think this is good for now. Let's build one last time. Make run. All right, there's a pretty low window. I think we should call it a day. Set up. Let's just keep it more simple. Okay, cool. I'm gonna see if I can stitch these together. They'll be, I don't know how often I'll do these, a couple, 2, 3 times a week, maybe. And I haven't decided if I'll do a video covering every single thing I do. It might be too much, or just whenever it seems like it might be something interesting, but we'll see. Cool. Thanks. Later.